Hey, it's Travis Anderson here with Keller Williams Realty coming to you on tax day, or at least what used to be tax day. We're going to talk about the real estate market over the last 7 days. We're going to talk a little bit about unemployment, and we're going to talk a little bit about how I'm feeling about things moving forward. Thanks for being here again. Travis Anderson here. Let's go ahead and talk about the real estate market as a whole over the last 7 days. Hey, last week, just like the week before, we had 2,100 new listings in Minnesota. 2,100 new listings. To give you some perspective, that's up from what we were seeing in March. And so we have lots of activity still coming into play. New listings are happening every single day. And again, 2,100 in the last 7 days. As far as buyers buying, we had 1,545 pending transactions in the last 7 days. 1545. Now, if I compare that to each week in the month of March, the average was 1436 in each week in the month of March. So we are still seeing an increase in buyers buying homes. Now you can see with 2,100 new listings, 1,500 people buying, there's a gap of 600 there. If that gap continuously grows, then you're going to start to see some swing in the prices, right? Because the more homes we have for sale, it increases the supply. The number of people buying would be the demand, and it's the difference in the supply versus the demand that causes a price change. Okay, it's not one of them individual. It's the difference between the two of them. So we'll keep an eye on that for sure. As far as showings go, this is my ultimate pulse in the market. In other words, when people are looking at real estate, they're active. They're out there. You know, maybe we had 1,500 people buy last week, but if we have a lot of showings, well, then we can predict, you know, for the future in the next couple of weeks that we're going to see some more pending transactions. We had 19,000 showings over the last 7 days. 19,000. That's up again from the week before, which was up from every single week in March. There are more people looking at real estate last week than looked at real estate in March. Okay? Now, again, I mentioned this in last week's video. There are some realtors that are putting some information out there that just isn't true. The data that I'm giving you is directly from the multiple listing service. It's directly from buyers, realtors scheduling a showing online. This is as factual as it can be. Now, I'm seeing a lot of misinformation on social media. I'm getting bombarded with emails from other realtors that they're not showing homes, that they're not active, that they're not seeing homes sell. Listen, statistically, it just isn't true. And that's the reason that I'm putting this video in place. Look, I've got a closing today. We had a closing on Monday. We had a closing last week. They went smoothly, right? The buyers and sellers did what was necessary to get the homes closed, just like they would have done last year. Now, are some things a little bit different? Yes. We're asking people not to touch countertops, not to open cupboards, not to, open every single door. We're asking sellers to leave the lights on, which we used to do anyways, but now we're asking buyers not to shut them off. We're asking buyers not to open every single door and touch all the doorknobs, okay? So there are things that are changing for sure, and we're being more cautious. But to say that we have fewer buyers, or to say that we have fewer showings, or to say that people are doing it online instead of doing it in real life or in person, let's say, not true. The statistics just don't back that up. Here's some statistics that even prove the coronavirus is not slowing things down. There were 17% more listings in March 2020 than there were in March of 2019. 17% more homes came on the market. 11% more buyers bought homes in March 2020 than March 2019. You guys, coronavirus is not slowing down the real estate market. People buy and sell real estate because of life events that are happening for them as individuals, okay? Now, the good news is we haven't seen this thing affect us on a local market the way that it's affecting some other markets. Keep a pulse on this. We'll keep updating you, but understand that we're doing a fine job here in the Twin Cities. Let's talk about unemployment. Hey, according to radio.com, it looks like 451,000 people applied for unemployment here in Minnesota since the middle of March. Now, if you compare that to February, that's a huge spike. In fact, that 451,000 represents about 14% of our workforce. If you compare that to February, we were at about 3.1%. Now, again, that's according to radio.com. I did confirm a lot of this data with the state website. mn.gov. However, they don't have March's data uploaded as of today. So I had to get that information from the media. Now, assuming that they're reporting accurate data, 14% unemployment is scary, scary numbers. If we continue to see 14% increase in unemployment as months go by, that freaks me out. That absolutely freaks me out. I don't foresee that happening. I really, from a personal perspective on how things are moving along here, I just don't necessarily foresee that happening. As of today, and every single video that I've put together up until today, things are fine in the Twin Cities. Unemployment we need to curb. We need to figure that out. We're going to have to make sure that people are working here as we progress through this virus, and that we don't have 14, 15, 20, 30% unemployment in the next couple of months. That would obviously be a problem for us. As of right now, we're doing just fine in the real estate market. Okay, let's put a bow on this thing, okay? The real estate market in March was better than last year in March. Over the last couple of weeks, we're seeing an increase in active listings, as well as an increase in showings, as well as an increase in buyers buying homes. From a personal perspective, we continue to get phone calls. We continue to communicate with our clients. We are continuously getting new clients, buyers, and sellers. So I just don't feel, at least over the last 4 or 5 weeks, as if the coronavirus has affected the Twin Cities real estate market. And the data also doesn't support it. The data shows me that we're doing just fine. The big question mark, like I've talked about before, is unemployment, and the fact that at least radio.com is reporting that 451,000 people are reporting unemployment or applicants of unemployment since middle of March. That's concerning. That is a concerning thing, and I'm not sure what that's going to look like in the future. My gut feel is that we're going to be just fine. We're going to roll out of this thing just fine. We'll see. Now it's time for a home tip, okay? Now right now we have snow on the ground, right? It snowed the last couple of days. It sounds like it's gonna start getting warmer. If you haven't cleaned out your gutters and then made sure that you have good grading, it's called positive grading around the foundation of your home, it's a great time to do that. In the spring, we get a lot more rain than we do in the summer months, obviously, and as well as in the winter months, and then also with the snow melt, the water is going to find its lowest spot, and you don't want that to be your home, okay? You don't want the water to pool around that foundation. Concrete is porous. It's actually going to absorb the water from outside, and then the water is going to make its way into your home. Now, a lot of people are going to have sump pumps, drain tile systems, things like that will help prevent damage to the interior, but it doesn't prevent the actual intrusion, and now you're subject to your system working. The best thing you can do is to prevent the intrusion to begin with. So clean out your gutters, make sure that you have a positive drainage. Let's see if I can get this pink around your home. You want water to slope away from your home. There is a metric for that. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but I like to see a nice, it built up pretty high. Make sure that you're keeping the soil away from your actual siding by at least 6 inches. And so I've actually had on my home, I've actually had to dig out some soil so that I can grade it properly, so that I don't put soil up on top of my siding. You don't want that either. So clean out your gutters, make sure your downspouts are in place, go walk around the home and make sure that you have some good positive grading. And if you don't, let's add some soil and some landscaping there to make sure that water, once it falls off your roof, it runs away from your house this spring. And hopefully we can prevent some water intrusion for some of our clients. Hey, again, Travis Anderson here with Keller Williams Realty. I appreciate all of your referrals. We're so thankful for our clients, and I hope you have a great day.